Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Caitlin's Realm here, a cozy cove. I hope you're all doing well. I am recording this on February 1st, so January is officially over. I hope the first month of the year went well for all of you. It went pretty well for me. There were some challenging times for sure. The month went fast and slow at the same time, ironically. But here we are, February, and I am hoping to continue to work towards my goals in this month. I'm going to keep it real though. I've been struggling a lot lately. That's part of the reason there's been a lapse in my content production. I've been stressing a lot and dealing with work stresses and just adulting and life things going on that I'm trying to know how to handle. But I'm doing my best. I'm going to continue to try to post weekly, but I can't make any promises at this point. There might be things that come up that throw me off track, but I just got to roll with the punches and keep on keeping on. So yeah, been struggling a lot, and a lot of it has been mentally. I'm not even exactly sure why I've been struggling as much as I have been, but it hasn't been fun. And every day I've been trying to figure out, like, what is it I'm dealing with? Why am I dealing with it? What can make me feel better? And it feels like an excruciatingly slow process to figure these things out. And maybe I'm chasing my own tail here. Maybe I'm overthinking. But it just often feels like I'm a rock in a hard place, or I'm just constantly hitting roadblocks. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. Please let me know if you do in the comments. When creating my goals for the new year, some goals I had and still have for like the first part of this new year, like January through March, is to really focus on my well-being and really invest in myself. Really put time into figuring out what it is I'm interested in, what I want out of life. Just get more centered and in touch with myself again, because I feel like through being so busy and stressed, there's been a disconnect, and it's hard for me to connect with myself. It's hard for me to know how I feel sometimes. So I really want to focus on well-being. That includes physical and mental well-being. And I've started to do the physical with exercising. I am proud of myself for that. The month of January, I went to the gym more than I had in years, and that is a wonderful start. I hope to continue and plan to continue that trend in February. But my mental health has seemed to take a toll, and I've been an anxious person and dealt with anxiety for many years. Thankfully, I've been able to learn myself enough to know what coping mechanisms work for me, so I can still function pretty normally and successfully everyday life in society and whatnot. I still have anxious feelings, but I'm able to handle them enough to not let them stop me, if that makes sense. I haven't dealt with a ton of depression in my life, I don't think, but lately it just feels like the depression is just coming in, and I'm not liking it, not one bit. So I don't know if it's because I've been stressed and anxious for so long that that's creating a toll on me and turning into a depression, because that could be very possible. Regardless, I've been feeling very unmotivated and unenthused and just uninterested in pretty much everything. And I've been tired a lot. It's hard for me to fall asleep at night, but yet when I do fall asleep, Like I'm waking up throughout the night and I then sleep in way too late in the morning. Just sleep habits are off right now, and I'll just be tired throughout the day. I'm just feeling like drained. I've been feeling sad inside and more emotional, just like an emptiness inside. I'm having a hard time finding purpose and meaning in my life right now. And what am I like working towards or striving for? And that's making me feel quite aimless and like I'm floating in outer space. Like I'm just coexisting. I'm trying to find out how to make myself feel more hopeful and happy in the present moment and about the future, just to feel more positive about things. I also noticed that I've been struggling with self-esteem issues and negative self-talk, and at least I'm recognizing it. That's the first step to changing it. Now I just need to figure out what habits to replace my current ones to help me become more positive and be nicer to myself. So, something I'm suspicious of is a big reason I'm feeling so down right now is because of it being wintertime. I hear a lot of people suffer from seasonal affective disorder, but I just never thought it was like an actual depression for some reason. But the more I looked into it and did a little research on it, yeah, it pretty much fits. It's like classic symptoms of depression that you get in the wintertime because of the cold conditions, the cloudiness, not seeing the sunshine, being inside, being less active. When this happens for weeks and months on end, it starts to affect our psyche. And some people are affected more than others. And I do believe that I am one of those people who are affected more. And so I really hope that this is a seasonal thing and that once the weather starts to get nicer and spring starts to get into full bloom, I will notice a significant change in my mood. In the meantime, I'm going to do my best to do some inner self work, some journaling, some meditation, and try to get to the root of what's bothering me and what's making me feel depressed and try to work through it. There's a lot of self-help books I have that I like to read that have received very high reviews. So I am hopeful that it will help me as well. Going back, the other goals I had for myself for the first 3 months of the year, aside from focusing on my mental and physical well-being, is focus on my apartment. Go through my things, organize, clean, just do a deep clean, deep organize. It feels time, the dust has settled. It's stagnant. It needs to be changed up. And so I want to prioritize going through my things, getting rid of things I don't want or need anymore, making note of things that I could use or that I do want, and do some deeper cleaning that I don't usually do. That would be a huge accomplishment and a great feeling to have that taken care of in my, what is this? I want to say this is like a 640 square foot apartment, I think. That would be a great feeling, to be living in a more clean and organized space where I know what I have and I know where things are. On top of that, there's a possibility that I'll be moving this year. And if I do end up moving, by already going through things, it'll make the moving process easier because I'll have less to deal with and I'll know like exactly what I have and where things are for like packing things up and just moving what I absolutely want and need still. The third thing that I want to really focus on in this first 3 months of the year is self-improvement and self-development, which is very similar to the first goal of like well-being, but this one is more so focusing on getting in touch with who I am and really spending time to ask myself questions and answer them and just dig deep and just get really like up close and personal with myself about realities in life and what I think and what I want, and just get really focused. Get in touch with myself. I feel like I've been out of touch for a while and I haven't really had the patience or confidence or courage to really be honest with myself about a lot of things because it can be scary. So I really just want to create a solid foundation on who I am and what I want, create a strong relationship with myself, develop more confidence, create some solid visions, and discover purposes that I can feel passionate about right now and in the near future. Put some meaning into my life. The other one that I wrote down to focus on, obviously, is my job, because that's how I make ends meet right now, and it's pretty important. And so I need to continue to put energy and time into my job until I discover something else that I'd like to pursue. It's been tough, though, to only like focus on those things because, I mean, those are big areas and they can be quite broad. But when things aren't progressing quick enough, I tend to get frustrated easily and feel impatient because I'm like, I should be there by now. I should have this figured out by now. I feel like behind a lot. But then I'm trying to remind myself that I've actually specifically carved out time in this season, in this time of the year, to legitimately focus on like pausing and taking things slower and being more introspective instead of being so like active and taking action outside in the world. As much as I would love to do that, I'm really feeling like it's crucial that I take the time to be introspective, reflect within, get in touch with myself, really get clear. Because once I have a solid foundation with myself, that's going to help me out in the world, like how I interact with people, how I go about business, how I go about activities. The way someone feels about themselves reflects outward into the world. And so if I can feel confident and like I know who I am, I know what I want, that's going to get portrayed outward. And that's what I want, I want to be confident. I want to be sure of myself. And I'm sure everybody wants that and can relate to an extent. It's something many of us strive for. And maybe I have really high expectations. Maybe I'm being a little too hard on myself. I don't know. It's all part of the journey, I guess, of figuring it out. But I do know that I want to be more in touch with myself than I am currently. And I want to feel more confident than I am right now. Going back to the topic of like depression and winter blues, what is it, like another 6 weeks of winter? It's tomorrow's Groundhog Day. I love that movie, by the way, with Bill Murray. All-time favorite, family classic. I'm gonna have to watch that one. The best I think I can do for trying to beat winter blues is try to get better sleep, eat a nutritious diet the best I can that involves, whole foods, protein, like clean meats, healthy fats, vitamins, leafy greens, and drink plenty of water. Stay hydrated. Make smoothies, put lemon in my water, just do all those little hacks that are like known to be just good for you. Exercise. Stay consistent with that. especially with like cardio or repetitive exercise. I hear that's good, really, especially good for depression. Things like walking or swimming or dancing or biking, just things that can be like more of a meditation. So prioritize that. I don't know if this will help or not, but take like vitamin D supplements, because I'm getting less exposure to the sun in the wintertime, and so naturally my vitamin D is lower. So maybe that would help me. I'll have to do more research on that. Spending as much time outside as I can, as long as it's not like crazy cold or snowing or something, because fresh air is just so therapeutic to me, and being in nature. And just any way I can be around nature in general. Like if there's like all year round nurseries I can go to, or if there's different like conservatories or nature centers that I can just like be around nature, be around plants, that would be a huge benefit to me right now, because I'm really missing that. I really would like to invest in a sun lamp. It kind of like mimics natural light, and so the more light that I can have in my apartment that mimics natural light would help boost my mood, because it's just tapping into those brain chemicals that natural light tends to do. And I really want to make sure that I am making an effort to reach out to my friends and family and stay connected and social, because it's very easy when you're depressed and it's cold outside to want to just stay home and isolate yourself. You don't want to bother anybody or be a burden, but that's not good to do. That's not a good habit to get into. So it's very important to connect with people. And so I'm going to try to prioritize that as well. Be in touch with my family and my sisters. Which, speaking of my sisters, we are planning to start a book club together this month, and we're all really excited about it. I have 3 sisters, and we unfortunately live kind of far away right now. We're about 2 hours away, but thanks to technology, we're going to be in like a group chat about it and maybe do some FaceTiming or video calling and chatting about the parts that we read every week. So I've personally never been part of a book club before, but I've always wanted to be. And so I'm excited that we're doing this. Another thing that I think is super important is to make time for fun and things that we enjoy. And that's something that has been so hard for me, because I've been so productive mindset based. And I can find enjoyment with definitely with being productive, but there's a difference between like really doing something just for the joy of it and not feeling like you're working all the time. I will have to be honest with you, I'm not even entirely sure what that is for me right now. What I can do and go to that's going to be rejuvenating and fun and relaxing and enjoyable. So I'm going to have to think of some things that interest me and just start dabbling and trying them out and seeing how it hits me, seeing how it feels. But regardless, I do need to prioritize and like carve out a time specifically to like have fun. This is my recreation time. This is time to give back to myself, because that's going to help me. That's going to boost my mood, and it's going to help with depression, and it's going to help either prevent me from getting into burnout or help me get out of burnout, because I'm not really sure if I'm in burnout right now or not. So yeah, those are my main things that I'm going to be focusing on, as well as reading and journaling. I think I mentioned that earlier in the video. Something else I want to mention is the topic of like positive thinking and negative thinking. And I've noticed with myself that I have just seemed like I've been thinking and talking pretty negatively lately and complaining a lot. And it feels like I'm being realistic, and maybe I am to an extent. But after a while, it just starts to sound like I'm just like glass half empty type of person. And that's not who I want to be, and honestly, I don't feel like that's who I am deep down. But then I argue with myself and I'm like, I don't want to be negative, but I want to be realistic. I want to be positive, but I also want to be realistic. Like, I want to be able to express myself honestly, and if I have negative emotions or negative thoughts, I want to be able to express them, be honest about it, but I don't want to dwell on them, but I want to be positive, be a positive influence, and help focus my energy and my thoughts on things I want to attract. But I also don't want to get into the space of like toxic positivity. So that's a dilemma I'm trying to figure out right now. I feel like with negative thinking, there should be a time frame put to it. Like you allow yourself to talk negative or think negative or complain and express yourself for like 10 minutes or a half hour. You can write about it, you can talk about it, but then you have to cut yourself off, because what good is it doing to you or anybody else to just keep talking about it and keep on that subject? I really don't think it's going to do any good. And so from that point forward, once you've released your emotions and you just kind of like gotten it off your chest, that's when I think the positive thinking needs to come in, and that's where the focus needs to go. You need to, and I need to, focus on what we want and what the solution is, instead of focusing on what we don't want, what we don't like, and what the problem is. Pretty sure like Ed Milet said that. I really like listening to his podcast. I want to talk more about like toxic positivity and different mindset and thought patterns in other videos coming up. We can dive into those topics more. But I just wanted to mention it real quick here in this video because it's been something I've been thinking about. Anyways, hopefully this wasn't too heavy of an episode. Just being honest here. Hopefully you're not struggling right now, but if you are, hopefully this video helped you feel less alone, because I'm going through it too. And I hope that you can find tricks and tactics that will help you feel better and help you to live your best life. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And feel free to subscribe if you want to see more of my content. And please feel free to comment if you can relate with anything I'm saying in this video, or if you have anything to add. I would love to hear it. Until next time, my friends, much love.